Please.
Of Congresswoman Luistro. It was stated that the NGCP, there was really no compliance of the order of the ERC and also sa DOE for the audit. Is that correct? Congresswoman, yes.
I believe presentation continue. Likewise, Mr. Chair, in 2010, nag-issue din po ang DOE. This is Department Order Number DO 2010-080015, the title of which, Creating the Technical Working Group for the Audit of the National Grid Corporation System Operations and Metering Service Operations. However, based on reports, pagkatapos ng dalawang meeting, allegedly, the DOE was questioned already by the NGCP at hindi na po natuloy itong system audit ordered by number 0015. Can we hear from NGCP?
Mr. Chairman. Attorney Paul. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our position had always been that under our concession agreement, it is the ERC that has regulatory powers over NGCP, and that is why ERC is conducting several audits already insofar as NGCP.
Attorney Sagayo, with all due respect, yes or no lang po, natuloy po ba yung system audit ng DOE?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Next question, Mr. Chair. In 2016, mayroon pong ERC Resolution Number 4, Series of 2016. This is dated April 5, 2016. A resolution directing the National Grid Corporation of the Philippines to procure an independent party to conduct an independent review of its operation system as system operator. Tanong po, Attorney Sagayo, natuloy po ba ito? Independent party, yes or no?
Can we check that ERC resolution? This is the first time that I heard that, Mr. Chairman.
But at least you can state for a fact whether nagkaroon po ng independent party provided by ERC to conduct the system audit.
The ERC is conducting audit now on several fronts, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair, since the answer of Attorney Sagayon is not completely responsive to the question, may I direct this question to ERC? Kayo po ba ay nag-engage ng independent party to conduct the system audit?
Not in the 2016 period, Mr.
In other
Chair.
words, Attorney Di Malanta,
Apo.
this ERC Resolution Number 4, Series of 2016, was never realized.
That's what I was asking, Mr. Chair. That was before my time, but I understand it was not carried out either.
And Mr. Chair, to continue, 2017, nag-issue din po si DOE Secretary Alfonso Cusi, Department Circular Number DC 2017-12-0016, the title of which, Adopting the Guidelines for the Performance Assessment and Audit of All Power Generation, Transmission and Distribution Systems and Facilities. Ito po ba'y natuloy, Attorney Di Malanta?
As far as I know, Mr. Chair, hindi rin po yan natuloy.
Having said all those, bakit po kaya hindi matuloy ang system audit ng NGCP?
Mr. Chair, for the record, the ERC was able to do a system audit in 2020, kailan po ba yan? 2022 po. Yung mga nabanggit po na resolutions, hindi po yun na-implement for various reasons. I think there were some hesitation or reluctance on the part of the auditee
On the part of,
of NGCP po.
do you confirm that hesitation and reluctance on the part of the NGCP
Oh, which one? That we are reluctant.
regarding the system audit, why this 2016 and 2017 orders of DOE, ERC were never pushed through?
Mr. Chairman, what we have been saying all along is it is the ERC that has regulatory powers over NGCP. And when it was ERC that ordered the audit of NGCP, we cooperated. Whatever documents that they required, we submitted.
Nonetheless, Mr. Chair, let me wind up on this. Since 2009, there's no system audit conducted which will rule out the apprehension that this system control of NGCP cannot be controlled remotely. Second, DOE Order Number 2010-080015 regarding the System Operation and Metering Service Operations audit was never realized as well. ERC Resolution Number 4, Series of 2016, concerning system audit was likewise not realized. And in 2017, DOE Secretary Circular Number 0016 was likewise not implemented. Mr. Chair, I'm stating a fact that since 2009, followed by 2010, and then 2016, and then 2017, there was never a system audit. The 2020 system audit that was shared to us by Attorney De Malanta, per her own admission, did not rule out the apprehension that this system of NGCP cannot be controlled remotely. Mr. Chair, with all due respect to my
Yes.
idol,
Ayan naman.
Attorney Ruffos Rodriguez,
Mr. Chairman, can I correct some of my answers? Sorry, with respect to...
Is that okay?
if okay with you.
Yes. Which particular answer do you want to correct?
Mr. Chairman, with respect to a third-party auditor, there was a risk assessment and vulnerability assessment and penetration testing in operational technology infra was conducted by NGCP's third-party auditor KPMG.
When?
This was in August 2022.
Mr. Chair, the question is about ERC Resolution Number 4, Series of 2016. This representation are manifesting facts which happened in 2010, in 2009, in 2016, and in 2017. And in conclusion, Mr. Chair, all the system audit mandated by various resolutions and circulars were never realized.
Mr. Chairman, I was mentioned as an idol. So may we know on what connection? By my idol also? One of the best performing members of the Quad Committee and also now here? What was it about? Because I also have to answer, the right to reply.
Mr. Chair, earlier, the Honorable Rodriguez manifested that the chairmanship of the board is allowed for foreign nationals. During his interpellation, it was likewise manifested that the chief technical officer was seemingly allowed by DOJ permits and other agencies' documentation. However, Mr. Chair, I am reminded by one important document that we are requesting from the NGCP, and that is the shareholders' agreement. I wish to humbly submit, Mr. Chair, that we will not be able to determine really whether the chairman exercised managerial and executive function and even the chief technical officer until and unless we see the shareholders' agreement. On this light, Mr. Chair, this representation humbly move that we issue subpoena duces tecum to NGCP for them to submit the shareholders' agreement to this committee. So move, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, in addition to the motion Mr. Chair?
May I just make a clarification? There was a subpoena ducis tecum already issued to them in this regard, and their answer is there's another document I saw. Well, anyway, that I remember seeing that
I was present. I
Dati kasi
confirm
sabi-
that, Mr. Chairman. There was a
here,
subpoena issued on the
it said
share.
here, sent January 22, signed by Cheryl Saldena de Leon, Corporate Secretary of Synergy Grid Development Philippines. We note that the first item under subpoena ducis tecum, the shareholders agreement among SGP, OTHI, and P21 does not exist. Thus, no such document is in SGP's records. Maybe
Mr. Chairman, what we are asking is not the shareholders agreement between SGP and the NGCP. What we are asking is the shareholders agreement between NGCP and the State Grid of China. Yung pong hinihingi natin is State Grid of China.
Okay.
Para malaman po
Okay,
natin.
so
kung
there's a
ano po sa
motion.
agreement, Mr. Chairman, if I may, para malaman lang po natin kung ano po nakalagay doon kung talagang kinokontrol ng Chinese yung kanila pong
Okay. With-
maintenance operation.
So is that correct?
That will be agreeable, Mr. Chair.
Yes. So that's the motion.
I recall, Mr. Chair, that both the chairman and the chief technical officer are both stockholders. So I wish to see as well from that document what participation do they have with respect to the management of the NGCP.
Okay, subpoena ducis tecum on the motion of the Honorable Jinky Luistro, duly seconded by the Honorable Roger Gutierrez. The chair, no objections. Motion is approved. We now proceed.
Mr.
The floor.
Chairman,
Yes, Honorable Ruffos.
just like
Rodriguez.
to make some comments regarding the manifestation
Please.
of Congresswoman Luistro. It was stated that the NGCP, there was really no compliance of the order of the ERC and also sa DOE for the audit. Is that correct? Congresswoman, yes.
I believe,
Yeah.
Honorable Rodriguez, that I read the title of the
Yes.
circular and the resolutions
Yes.
which I mentioned.
Yes, yeah. Mr. Chairman, the ERC is the regulatory agency with all the powers to regulate NGCP. It's not a matter of they're not interested to have that implemented or the resistance. Because it is the ERC who should have implemented it whether they like it or not. It is not the fault of NGCP that there was nothing done. Because you are the regulator. Is that correct, Ms. De Malanta?
That's correct.
Yeah, you are. So therefore,
So,
the fact that continue is not the fault of NGCP. It is the ERC which has failed to implement it. And she was not yet the head at the time.
Chair Di Malanta,
Yeah.
please reply.
Mr. Chair, if I may reply. As recognized by the Honorable Representative, I am not able to explain why it was not implemented in 2016. But when a new performance assessment was organized by the DOE, and then we participated also because of the position of NGCP that only ERC is the one that they recognize, we participated and led the assessment. But still, NGCP refused to provide those documents. And we have letters to show, Mr. Chair, that they refused. So, but we continued with the assessment.
Then you should
Mr. Chair.
direct them under pain of contempt and pain of penalty. That is how a regulatory agency would do.
We did, Mr.
If
Chair.
if you're sleeping on the job, they have first a resistance and you will not insist. What kind of a regulatory agency are you? You have to do it.
Yes.
I'm glad that you are now there and you have already started that. And that is not their fault that 2016, 18, 19, 20, there was no systems audit because you did not insist. You have the full powers and yet you waive that power. So just that, Mr. Chairman, to put it in the proper perspective, it could have been done and we wish it will be done during your term. And let them not resist it. Otherwise, you penalize them. That is the power of the ERC. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Much, Attorney Rufus
Mr. Chair,
Rodriguez. The Honorable Jinky,
I wish to wind up.
please.
The apprehensions that we are facing right now about having our national grid possibly controlled by foreign national is right before our eyes. While it is just an apprehension, this is a question that needs to be answered with absolute certainty. With our present situation in the West Philippine Sea, Mr. Chair, I hope the Filipino people are walking with me right now. Exclusive in an economic zone, which is exclusive for Filipino citizens, as confirmed by UNCLOS, as confirmed by the International Arbitration. And yet we continue to be harassed, threatened, and even injured by foreign nationals right in our sovereign land. With this situation, will you have the peace of mind na ipagtiwala ang kaisa-isa mong national grid sa kaaway mo sa West Philippine Sea? Will you have the peace of mind that the national grid relies on these Chinese citizens who are maligning, harassing, threatening our fellow Filipinos? Will you have the peace of mind that no Filipinos understand this technology and only Chinese engineers do? Will you have the peace of mind that the technology can be controlled by somebody in Nanjing, leaving all of us helpless? All aspects of Filipinos' lives rely on electricity. Manufacturing, transportation, communication, you name it. What will happen to us if indeed this technology is under Chinese control and they decide to sabotage our country? I can be wrong. We can be wrong. But the question is, what if this apprehension is correct? My point, Mr. Chair, to NGCP, give us the concrete, tangible, apparent, and absolute reason to believe that our transmission grid is under Filipino control and never under the Chinese control. With that, Mr. Chair, I conclude. Maraming salamat po.
The Honorable Jinky Luistro for that very powerful manifestation. So the burden of proof, of course, is again with NGCP. So now we proceed to the next interpreter, the Honorable Ortega. Please.
Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair.
Yes, Attorney. The Honorable Ortega.
Yeah, I just want to address some of the questions left hanging from the interpellation of
There's
Honorable
no
Ortega.
question, sir.
There was one, sir, about whether the system operations was part of the audit conducted by ERC.
Are you still at it? I think
The question, Mr. Chair, has reference with particular, circular, and resolution, and I believe that all those questions have been answered already.
Thank you. Okay, we proceed. Honorable Ortega, you have the floor.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Madami na po na natanong actually pa. Medyo dodoble na po yung mga katanungan natin. I would just like to double down po sa mga requests po, sa mga manifestations kanina, saka of course yung subpoena ni Kong Jinky na we are expecting NGCP yung full cooperation po ng NGCP dito kasi parang there are some irregularities na nga po na lumalabas, not only with the franchise, but yun nga po, sabi ni Kong Jingy kanina, there are already questions of security, national security and national interest. So, kanina po ako kinakalabit nung katabi ko. So, Mr. Chair, I would like to yield my time to my childhood idol, the Honorable Dan Fernandez.
Dan Fernandez is not at this time.
Salamat po.
Hindi mo pa oras na yun. Meron pang iba.
Yielded back.
Point of clarification lang po, Mr. Chair.
Akala ko idadagdag sa oras mo mamaya.
Hindi, he's yielding his time.
Okay, 5 minutes.
Presentation.
He's not a senior citizen, you have 5 minutes.
Kasi naputol po ako, pinutol niyo ako, chairman, kanina eh. So, pero gusto ko na magpahuli para at least nasa akin na yung full time. Pero hindi ako aalis dito hanggang hindi ko po natatapos lahat ng presentation natin. Anyway,
Mr. Chair, with due respect, with due
Mr.
respect
Chairman,
to Mr. Chair, just a clarification with due respect to Chairman Dan Fernandez. If a member yields his time to another member, does that mean that the sequence of interpellator will go as in order? Because or idadagdag na lang po yung oras. For example, when the time comes that Chairman Dan Fernandez will be asking his interpellation.
Yes, the procedure is the slot. If they yield the time, the slot is taken over by another member.
Okay, akala ko idadagdag lang yun sa oras.
That's
kaya
what
mas
I thought
mataas.
until I was corrected by the COMSEC. Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
So,
Thank you, Chairman Dan.
Thank you. So, the Honorable Dan, 5 minutes.
okay. Recap po tayo, no? Kasi naputol po tayo kanina. So, again, yung pong third regulatory period, Mr. Chairman, ay yung tinatawag po natin kung ano yung taripa na ginamit po ng NGCP. Okay. So, there ay na-compute po ng consultant ng ERC yung sinasabi po nilang closing RAB kung ano po yung tamang computation ng kanilang total asset kasama na po depreciation and everything. Now, ang sabi po nila ng RAAC at NCL, ang kanilang closing RAB for the third regulatory period is 173 billion. And sa application po ng NGCP, ang kanilang application is 196 billion para po sa kanilang tinatawag na opening RAB doon po sa fourth regulatory period. That is exactly 196.69 billion na nakalagay po doon sa kanilang draft final determination. And kanina nga po ay nagkakaroon ng tanungan sila Congressman Ruffos and also sa ERC kung bakit daw itong ating pong tinatawag na draft final determination ay naka-out doon po sa kanilang website for the consumption ng ating pong mga consumer. Kasi nga ang desisyon ng mga korte, no, ay bawal yung ginagawang paglalabas, no, ng partial decision, no. But I would like to be educated on this mismo na Dimalanta, no. What was the reason? Bakit nilabas nyo yung partial initial determination noong September 13, 2023 at nilabas nyo naman yung draft final determination noong August 21, 2024. What is the very main reason why na inilabas natin to? Kasi kung ako tatanungin mo, better sa akin na nilabas to. Why? Kasi nakita ko yung difference nung dalawa nito, disadvantageous talaga sa ating mga consumers. Sobra. And as a matter of fact, Kung babasahin mo itong final na to, yung final determination, lumalabas dito that even the consumers hindi kasama doon sa ginawang hearing what do you call this, ng ERC. Because as I have read this, wala po doon yung mga consumer group. Ang nandun lamang po ay ang NGCP lawyer na si Faustino something ba yun, I forgot, Bautista, at yung NGCP, and then the PISAM and the Transco. But never na naandun po yung ating pong mga consumer. Now, what is the very essence why this draft final determination was released in your website?
Mr. Chair, the rule that requires publication of draft determinations has been there from the original rules of ERC setting the transmission wheeling rates. I think personal na po ito. It really it is a commitment, not just an attempt on the part of the commission to adhere to principles of transparency in setting the rates, particularly of regulated entities. This time around po, baka po ang sinasabi nilang nag-iba kasi po merong draft partial kami tapos draft final na pinost. Kasi po nabanggit na rin kanina, instead po of the original 5-year period, naging 7 po kasi po hindi nga po nakapag-reset yung ERC dati. So to address po the question directly, it is in adherence to the principles of transparency and giving our public the ability to comment on the drafts, on the rates that will result from this exercise of the ERC. Maka-comment lang po ako dun sa punto about consumers, Mr.
Sige, go
Chair.
ahead, ma'am.
Opo. Bukas naman po yung proseso sa consumer. Siguro po, tine-check ko lang nga po kung wala kaming intervenor na consumer group. But there were consumer individuals that submitted comments and participated as intervenors in the proceedings.
Okay.
Meron pong si former Commissioner Non participated. There was NASECOR, who's also a consumer group that were admitted as intervenors.
Okay, dito sa nirelease nyo sa inyong website, ang sinasabi po dito, ang opening ROB is 173.41 billion in accordance doon sa inassess ng ating pong RAAC saka NCL. But dito po sa naging final and draft ninyo, lumalabas po ng 196.69 billion, a difference of 23 billion. Ang pinag-uusapan pa lang natin dito, opening and closing RAB. So in other words, mataas po ang closing and opening RAB ng 23 billion. So in other words, tataas ang presyo ng rate para sa transmission. Dahil mataas po yung opening RAB. Ngayon, ang tanong ko, siguro hindi sa'yo, doon sa ating pong mga majority, no? Sa majority, kay Commissioner Puentes, anong reason bakit niyo itinaas yung pong closing and opening RAB na kung saan kinompute po ito ng ating RAAC at ng ating pong NCL na kung saan binayaran natin ng 40 million at 12 million para sa ginagawa po nilang evaluation and assessment ng lahat ng mga properties ng ating pong NGCP, bakit itinaas natin ng 23 billion?
Mr. Chair, may I be recognized?
That's addressed to whom?
Commissioner Puentes.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Actually, Mr. Chair, when we issued the PID, there was already a reservation.
Can you speak louder, please?
There was already a reservation noted in the PID that the beginning balance that used and recommended by the RAAC is that I do not agree on that because there was a decision made by the previous commission on the beginning of 2010 regulatory period. There was already an approved beginning balance, and that was used to roll forward the regulatory asset base to become the opening RAB on the 4th RP.
Ang sinasabi mo, Commissioner, ay forecasting sa 2009. Kailangan yung forecast ang gagamitin natin.
No, Mr. Chair, ang nangyari po, meron pong approved opening RAB in the 3rd RP. So that was used to roll forward to the opening RAB. It was used to close.
What was the approved opening RAB? Or closing, ano yan, opening or closing RAB?
Opening RAB. Actually,
excuse me, ng third regulatory period?
yes, because the RAAC used the SKM valuation, the 2008, but there was an approved opening RAB in the third regulatory period. And it is already...
No, wait,
if I may,
wait.
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Puentes, we are talking about third regulatory period closing RAB. I'm not talking about the opening RAB of the 2011 to 2015 opening RAB.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the closing. So, para maintindihan ng ating mga kababayan, ang pinag-uusapan natin dito, yung buong asset. Kasi yung sinasabi mong opening, nanggaling yun doon sa second regulatory period eh. Yun ang ginamit natin na parang opening ng third regulatory period. Now, matapos ang 5 taon, matatapos sa 2015, closing RAB na tayo. So, andun na po yung depreciation, andun na yung mga bagong equipments, andun na yung mga bagong projects. Now, ngayon, meron na tayong closing RAB. Ito na yung pinakakumpletong asset ng ating pong NGCP na magiging move forward tayo sa 2016. Yun ang gagamitin natin sa opening ng fourth regulatory period. Ngayon, ang tinatanong ko sa iyo, bakit nyo itinaas ng 23 billion, okay, yung pong closing RAB ng third regulatory period at ginawa nyong 196 billion. Kasi yun ang nag-manifest dito sa inyong decision eh. Dito sa inyong partial initial determination. Ang sabi nyo, Commissioner, ikaw, si Digal at si Lumbatan, ang sabi nyo, tama ang decision ng RAAC. Dapat ang gamitin po natin sa computation yung mga project na use and useful. Sinabi nyo dito eh, ang kailangan gamitin natin mga project sa computation ng ating opening RAB para sa fourth regulatory period ay use and useful, efficient na mga project. Yun ang sinabi nyo dito. Then suddenly, dito sa decision nyo, sa final determination, sinabi nyo, hindi, as spent, lahat ng project ng NGCP, no, lahat ng kanilang mga capex, hindi pa tapos, pabayaran na natin sa taong bayan. Ito ang binabanggit ng desisyon ninyo. Ang tanong ko, bakit?
Mr. Chair, if I may, in the draft final determination, section 4.2.3, it was stated on how we adopted for this purpose the draft final determination. Why we adopted the 196, because of the use. If I may explain, there was an opening RAB in the third regulatory period. So that opening RAB came from the closing RAB of the second regulatory period. And now the consultant used the 2008, wherein it was not even the closing RAB of the second regulatory period. Furthermore, there was an approved opening RAB for the third regulatory period in the final determination of the third regulatory period. So this figure was used to roll forward the assets in the third regulatory period that resulted to the closing RAB of the third regulatory period and to become the opening RAB of the fourth regulatory
How much
period.
is that?
Commissioner
Come on,
Puentes,
come on.
wait, please, I have still the floor. Please, Commissioner Puentes, huwag mo akong paikot-ikutin. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Alam mo, ang tinatanong ko is closing, not the opening.
Yes.
Hindi na makaka-apekto yung opening mo dun sa closing eh. Kasi ang closing, ito na yung total eh, ng asset eh. Ito na yun eh. So, nag-evaluate ang RAAC at ang NCL. Ang sabi nila, 173 billion. Bakit tayo magbabayad ng 40 million saka 12 million? Tapos hindi natin sila pakikinggan. Saka, ito, Commissioner Puentes, Commissioner Digal, Commissioner Lumbatan. Meron tayong actual and historical data and information. Ibig sabihin, tapos na kasi ang 2016 hanggang 2022 na kinoconsider natin sa fourth regulatory period. Tapos na eh. So, nag-apply ang NGCP. O, ito na mga datos namin. Ito na yung mga project namin. Ito na yung capex namin. Ito na yung opex namin. Ito na yung taxes namin. Ito na yung depreciation namin. Kumpleto. Kukumputin na lang nila. Ang sabi nila, at ang sabi ng NCL saka ng RAAC, 173 billion. Now, ang tanong, bakit ginawang 196? Yung doon sa final determination. Okay? We're just talking about the opening and closing RAB. We're not talking about yet the capex. Sa capex, ang laki ng application nila na pinaboran yung 3. Bakit? Unahin natin yung opening RAB. Bakit nag-jump ng 23 billion? Give me justifiable reason. Why? Samantalang yun ang recommendation ng RAAC. Yun ang recommendation ng NCL.
Mr. Chair, may I?
Please reply.
I will try again on the opening RAB portion.
Mr. Chairman, don't try to confuse this committee because ang parang nanggaya sa 2000 sa second regulatory yung opening. Okay yun. Tapos na yun eh. Ito na yung computation eh. Nagsimula kayo sa 2011. Ito ang asset ng NGCP. Okay, nagpagawa sila ng mga project. Oh, eto na. Nag-close na tayo. Magko-close na tayo sa asset natin. Ito yung asset natin. At sa computation nila, sinabi nila 173. And even the two, Commissioner Maceda and Mona Lisa agreed with the consultant. And the 3 of you agreed also dito sa partial initial determination. Pero binago nyo pagdating sa final. Ngayon, ang tanong, kung di mo masagot, Commissioner Tigal, pakita natin yung ating yung final determination para dun sa proposal ng NGCP para sa kanilang